Hello and welcome back to another Anyone Can Code video. I'm actually in the US right now for the first time since COVID to attend Apple's WWDC. And I do have some time to kill, so that's why I'm here in Lake Tahoe and it's really nice. But anyways, as per usual, I'm going to be showing you how to make this. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a multiplayer game with SwiftUI and GameKit, also known as Game Center. And we're going to be making a pictorial-like game called Guess the Doodle. So we can start off the game by pressing the play button, which will bring up a matchmaking menu, where we can then start off with a quick match, which will automatically match us up with another opponent, thanks to Game Center. And now we have two roles. We have a drawer and we also have a guesser. So a drawer has to draw what's prompted, and they can also erase as well, and all the drawings will be updated on the other player's screen. The guesser has to then guess what the drawer is drawing, which I can guess something incorrect, like a rectangle, or maybe this is a box. Or if I guess the iron, it'll then be correct. All the past guesses will be displayed down below, and the roles will then switch if the guesser guesses correctly. On the top, we have a score and also a timer, and we have to keep guessing correctly until we run out of time. So in this case, I now have to draw a wallet. So maybe I have some wallet with some cash, and we can just keep going. All right, now we're almost run out of time, and when we run out of time, it will show a game over screen, as you can see here. So once you run out of time, it'll just say game over, it'll tell us the score, and we can also head back to a menu. And that's basically it. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make the UI, as well as how to set up a real-time match with Game Center, as well as sending data between both players, and also handling things like the player disconnecting or quitting the game. Anyway, let's just jump straight into the tutorial. Alright, so we have a new Xcode window open, and let's just jump straight into it. Create a new Xcode project. I'm gonna bring this over. New app, iOS app, just a plain one. And we're gonna call this Guess the Doodle. For our interface, SwiftUI, and language is obviously Swift. So next, and we can create. Cool. And there we have it. I'm gonna open up the assets file actually, just so we can drag in some assets that we need. So, hold on, something's happening. Drag over the window. All right, there we go. I'm gonna just drag in all these images that we need. By the way, the images and finished source code will be down in the description below. You can just download the images for free, and the source code or finished files are also down there. Anyways, we have our images, just some backgrounds and a logo, as well as a game over image. And on the right hand side in the spectre, I'm going to set the scale to single scale, just because we only have one image, so only one scale. And I'm also going to drag in 3 different colors. These are the menu button and 2 different primary colors, which are going to be used for drawer and guesser, because we have 2 different drawer and guesser screens. And so there you go. I'm just gonna show you the hex colors. Just quickly pause and copy it if you want. Just gonna quickly run through these, just so I don't waste too much of your time. There you go, 3 different colors, and I'm just gonna make sure appearances is none. If you wanna make a new color, by the way, you just press the plus button on the bottom left and create a new color set. Okay, let's start off by creating a different view. So we're going to create a new file, just right click new file, and we're going to create a new SwiftUI view, and this will be our menu view. And before that, I actually want to create another one called 2 different Swift files. This one's going to be a match manager. And this is where we actually will store all of our different game data. And we're also going to create a miscellaneous file, just full of different miscellaneous things that we need. I'm actually gonna start off with this part. We're gonna create the UI, hopefully get through all of that, and sort of foundation for all the different data that we need. The next part will be the GameKit section, so all the multiplayer stuff, that's what you're interested in. This UI is a bit of a big thing, so I might break it down into two parts if I need to. Anyways, so miscellaneous. Let's just copy in all the different things we need. The first thing that we need is a list of everyday objects, because these are all the different prompts that we need to draw. I actually asked ChatGPT to give me all this, so it was pretty good at that, and it actually gave me all this in Swift, so that's pretty cool. AIs can do a lot of things nowadays, so that's quite nice. But yeah, just a whole different things, just whole bunch of things. Actually, I think this is like 100 objects. Anyways, I'm also gonna copy in something else. So because when we're logging into Game Center for our multiplayer games, we actually need a whole different set of authentication states. Let me just maximize this view. Just better for your viewing pleasure. And then close down this window. All right, so this is an enum, so it's just a set of different cases. And I can just, set it so that our authentication state is like this or this, just whatever. So we have one for different cases. We have if it's authenticating, in other words, logging in, if we haven't signed in, and one if we've signed in, one if there's an error, and also one if we're just not allowed to play multiplayer games, because you can restrict that, I think, with, I assume, parental controls. And this enum is of type string, so that means that for every case we have a string, and this makes it easier for us so that we can actually, in the menu view for the logging in sort of different dialog, we can just chuck in this enum and it will give us the correct text. And I'm also going to type in a struct called passGuess. This will be of type identifiable, and this will be for us so we can list down all of our different past guesses in the game screen. This is identifiable because when we actually add all of these different past guesses, SwiftUI just needs all these to be identifiable and tagged so it knows the order and listing of everything. And for us to make it identifiable, we need a constant or a property, and this will be a UUID. The message is basically the guess. We're going to call this make this a string, and we're also going to create a boolean called correct. So if it's correct or not as well, because we're going to add a bit of extra styling, like a thumbs up icon or a some extra bolding for correct answers as well. So it just helps. And then also we need one for maximum time remaining. So this is basically how much time we have to start off with in the game. So we'll set that to 100, that meaning 100 seconds. And that's everything that we need for sort of a base foundation stuff. Now to also build up the match manager, which will eventually be where we store or manage all of the match data and multiplayer communications. So that'll be the next, or in 2 parts time, depending on how many parts I break this down into. But this will be sort of towards the end of the tutorial series. So let's create a class. We'll create a match manager, and this will be an observable object because SwiftUI, this makes it so that SwiftUI is able to observe this object. If there's any changes, it will update the SwiftUI view accordingly. Makes it easier for us because we don't have to do it manually. And let's add in all the different things that we can have. So we can have a authentication state, which will be our player authentication state. In the beginning, it's going to be signing in because we haven't authenticated yet. And by the way, @publish just means that we will be publishing these variables to SwiftUI so that SwiftUI can update the views. So only certain things can be published because you don't want to be publishing every single thing just because. And so we're also going to create another one called in-game. I'll actually separate this, like push it up here, and this be false. And also if it's if we have game overed, so that's also going to be false. This will just be so we can manage essentially just whether or not we are showing the game screen or the game over screen. Makes it a lot more convenient. Again, a lot of things make it convenient. That's just sort of how I set up my app. Anyways, and what else do we need for this part? We need a currently drawing. That's quite important because we need to know if we're the drawer or not, and that'll change the actual UI and the actual views that we see. Currently, it will just be false by default. Published var. What else do we need? We need a draw prompt. So for drawing, we need a worded prompt. Hence, miscellaneous, the whole list of different everyday objects. And then we also need a list of past guesses, actually. And this will be an empty array. I've got past guess, and we need to add some rounded brackets just to make sure of that. And score. That's also very important. Need to keep track of score and display it. And then we also need the remaining time. And that'll be set to our max time remaining by default. That's just how we keep track of time. Cool. That's everything we need. So menu view. Let's start off with menu view. I'm gonna go up top right, create our wrong view. Canvas. There we go. We need a canvas. So what do we need first? We need to create an observe object property called match manager. So this will be of type match manager, and this content view, by the way, will be one passing it in. We haven't touched this yet, but this will be where we are able to basically control which screen we're using and also store the main match manager. It's sort of like a big sort of central area, like a junction of things. Now it's saying, for previews, we need a default match manager by default, so we can actually show our previews. And yeah, so we have, let me zoom in. It's too zoomed out. So you have hello world text, but I'm gonna replace this with a VStack. A VStack is just gonna let me stack things vertically, so we have basically just our content laid out vertically as opposed to like horizontally, or a Z-stack, which is things layered on top of each other. Okay, we're gonna add a spacer, which will help us space things out. The spacer just fills up as much space as it can. And this will be where we add our logo image. So just image of type logo. And we can add some modifiers, which will modify our view, or in this case, image. Make it resizable, make it scaled to fit. We're also gonna add, let's see what it looks like. It's too close to the edges, we're gonna add a padding of 30 pixels. Okay, cool. Add another spacer just so it's not down at the bottom. And there you go. And we're also going to add a button. Press enter twice, just fills everything in for us. Well, most of the things. Here I'll just add some placeholder, or I'll just say to do start the matchmaking menu. There you go. And then for a label, we'll add some text, which says play. Play in all caps. I think that'll be nicer. Just, have the app shout you play. But yeah, anyways, we'll make the font a large title. Just make it nice and big, bold as well. So bolded text. And what else? So we want to actually disable this. That's a good thing, because if we haven't been authenticated yet, we don't want to actually be able to stop the game yet. And also, if we start the game and the matchmaking venue goes away, there might be a brief split second where you will be able to have access to the menu, and you don't want to be having someone spam the menu button and press play again. So we're going to check for both cases. So we're going to disable it if our authentication state is not authenticated, so dot authenticated, or we are also in the game. So match manager, oh, not math. We don't need math in this game. In game. Cool. We need also some padding. So we need a vertical padding of 20 pixels. We also need a horizontal padding of 100 pixels. Cool. As you can see, it's grayed out, so it sort of tells us, hey, this is disabled. Let's add a background. And we're going to, in this background, put in a capsule. Our capsule style will be, I'm actually going to make this circular because this is actually probably better. Circular just allows me to have basically half circles on either end, so you know what, even better, even better. Fill, we also need to have fill, and I'm actually going to go back to assets, and I'm going to create a new color set. I'm going to call this play button. And let me open up the right window. I'm going to make the appearance none, so just have a single appearance. And 8-bit, 0 to 255. Actually, I'm going to make this here, because I know the exact numbers. 0.243, 0.773, and 0.745. Oh, 45. Somewhere abouts. Yeah, so this is just our play button. I'm going to copy the name, just so it's easier. This will be the background for the play button, so... color, actually I'll check, yeah, color, and then play button. Let's let this load and see. There you go, light blue, all good. I'm also gonna make this gray if we're not authenticated, so we're gonna just copy, paste the same conditional, and add a bit of a ternary operator. So if it's true, so question mark, we'll have this color. Then the column, we'll add a colon, and after a colon is what happens if it's false. We'll just make it gray. Or actually, hold on. No, this is not right. I want it to be gray if it's not authenticated. So if it's authenticated, which is false in this conditional, we'll make it the blue. And so now it's boring and gray. And our foreground color will be dot white. Cool. And finally, I'm going to add a nice little spacer. And also for VStack, outside of VStack, I'm going to add a background modifier. And this will be an image. This will be, you may have guessed, the menu BG. Menu background, I mean. So this will be resizable. This will be scaled to fill. And also there's some weird little like, and also, since there's a white little sliver, I need to make this ignore the safe area. There you go. And that means that it will just be able to ignore the top and bottom of the screen, which is what Apple says is a safe area, like outside the safe area, because there's like a tab bar and there's also this like home screen indicator. But I can ignore that, so this background fills up everything. And then I'll set a scale effect, because there is a slight white sliver down the bottom. I'll make it scaled up by like 10%, so 1.1. And this is the entire, oh, no, not yet. This is almost the entire thing. We need a text saying, we need a text for the match manager's authentication state. So we can tell the user what authentication state we are in. So dot raw value. So we're taking authentication state's raw value, which gives us a string in our misc thing. So miscellaneous right here like this. So back to the menu. We're gonna add some font. This will be headline font, so it's just slightly bigger. And we're gonna add a weight modifier to this preset. And we're gonna make this primary yellow. Just a nice old yellow color. Which is, it's going to complain for some reason. Oh wait, no, I made a. I'm a bit dumb. Dot weight should be semi-bold. I was kind of jumping ahead. The color shouldn't be yellow. The weight's semi-bold. No, the color should be yellow, but the weights should be yellow, semi-bold. So foreground color. This will be where we add our primary yellow color, and we can add our padding, so we can add a bit more space, and everything is good. If it's blank, so if you've authenticated it, it should just be empty. Cool. That's all sorted out from for the menu view. Let's create another file. We're almost at 20 minutes, so I'm gonna close this off at V after I create this game overview. So we have a new view. I'm actually gonna copy all of this just down because it basically has most of the stuff that we need. Alright, replace the text, VStack, there you go. Instead of this image being, oh, we also need a observed, actually let me just copy this, I can't type for the life of me. Paste this in, observed object, and match manager. There you go. Just the same sort of thing, just for this I'm just adding, yeah, for a preview, just a template, like a placeholder, sort of. For the background image, I'm going to change this to the game overview. And then, oh, sorry, game over BG. Game over BG. Game over. Okay, cool. And we are going to change this image to game over. Have a bit of a padding. We're actually going to make this a bit of a larger padding. This will be I think a 70 padding, I think is fine. But we want this to be a vertical padding because 70 vertically, horizontally, because 70 vertically is too much because we're going to also add the score. So padding vertical. And then that's where we're also going to add text saying score. We're going to do a bit of interpolation so we can fit in the score. So backslash brackets, and we can put in the match manager's score. And it'll just say score 0. Actually, just put a color in there. Font, we'll do a large title. Also make it bold. And then foreground color will be that primary yellow we've always been talking about. Okay, almost done. The menu button, let's replace that with a, sorry, play button, let's replace that with the menu. For this to do, I'm going to replace this with, what's a good one? Let's just choose, go back to menu, just a little menu to do for us. We don't need this to be disabled. We want it to be always accessible. And then, let's see, large title. I'm also going to make this foreground color. I'm going to make this the color of the menu button, which would be sort of the align color. Doesn't look great right now. I'm going to set the brightness down to negative 0.4, so it's a bit dimmer. Padding, I'm just going to replace this vertical padding with a regular one. Horizontal, 50, just makes it a bit smaller. So by the way, I added this like brightness just to make it darker, just because I'm also going to make this fill color for the menu button the same color. So it looks a bit nicer. Cool. And we also don't need this logging into game center stuff. So yeah, that's the game overview. I'm going to end it over here because it is, I think, maybe around 25 minutes once we finish it. So I'll see you in the next video where we will do the game view, and I think I might stop that at that point and then do the GameKit stuff. All right, well, I'll see you in the next part. So goodbye.